talking about foster kids in camp with Kathy Jo McGee, Assistant Director, and Amanda Barton, Director of the Royal Family Kids Camp Sioux Empire. And I guess I want to start out first of all by saying there's a movie that's been out since Friday at the Carmike that really has a tie-in to what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have this movie showing in Sioux Falls. It's about a camp just like ours. It's a very inspiring drama about a little boy who ends up in foster care, and he has the opportunity at the last minute to get into this camp, which is such a unique opportunity for kids in foster care. And he gets paired up with a guide, a counselor who thinks he knows everything, and he has ulterior motives for being a counselor at this camp. But throughout the week, you just see both of their worlds change, just like it does at a Royal Family Kids Camp.
So this is kind of a national program.
Right. Royal Family Kids Camp started out in California 25 years ago under the leadership of Wayne Tesh, who is the founder and still the standing director of the organization. And we're starting a new camp. It'll be the first Royal Family Kids Camp in South Dakota. There are over 190 camps nationally, even internationally, but this will be the first one in South Dakota.
And where is it located?
This camp is based out of Brandon. Each camp is supported by a group of individuals backed by a church, and so we are based out of Brandon. However, our campers come from Minnehaha and Lincoln counties, so we service the foster kids of Minnehaha and Lincoln counties. We don't publicize where our camp actually is because of the kids we're working with and just for their safety.
Now, what ages are the foster kids?
The kids that go to our camp are ages 7 to 11 years old.
And how many are hopefully going to camp?
36 kids will get to go, 18 girls and 18 boys.
Well, what can you tell us about it?
Well, every kid's story is different, and so it's really interesting because the kids will be referred to us either by a caseworker or by a current foster parent, and then we will get their applications, and we will hopefully pair them with an adult. There'll be for an adult, which we call a guide. They'll guide them through the week. There is 2 kids, and then they will be a team for the week at camp. And then we have assistant guides and all kinds of activity directors. So really it ends up being on the camp a one-on-one basis. There's actually more adults than kids. And we're able to meet their needs. We have nurses, licensed nurses, and caseworkers on the campgrounds to make sure that all the kids are protected.
Are you looking for volunteers or mentors?
There is a few more positions that we're still looking for. We have one RN position still open, a lifeguard we are in need of, and just a few like assistant activities directors and kitchen staff. There is a few positions we're still looking for.
And this is really kind of a small number of the foster kids in the area.
It's very small. We're barely even putting a dent in it, but for our first year, it's the way to start. And we're hoping that this will spread and there'll be more organizations in the Sioux Falls area that will want to start, and we would love to help them get started with that.
When is the camp?
It is in July.
Now, what are the things that they're going to be doing at the camp?
Yeah, the camp, the kids, it's like your normal summer camp in the aspect of they get to swim, they get to fish, different sports activities, craft activities, some time together at chapel time, just having fun, being kids, experiencing things that they normally wouldn't get to in their normal day. One of our highlights of our campus, we're going to be having a luau one night, which is fun for the kids, just a big beachfront party. Another night, we are having a little tea party for the girls, and the boys get a sports night where they just get to interact with some college athletes and get some special sports clinic training, if you'd want to say. And our last night that the kids are at camp is we throw what we call everybody's birthday party. It's one of the highlights for the kids. Over the years, Royal Family Kids Camps have found that many of these kids have never had a birthday party. Many of them have never even received a birthday present. So for them to be celebrated and have a big party is one of their highlights of camp.
Well, a foster child, how do you define what a foster child is?
A foster child is really anybody who's been in a situation where they were abused or neglected and they have to be removed from their primary caregiver at that time and placed into a foster home.
So they may have had a family, but was removed from it, or they may not even know what a family is.
Exactly. Every kid's story is different. From maybe it's just a temporary thing, or maybe this is a long-term thing. Maybe this is an ongoing thing that they've been experiencing on and off throughout their whole life. And so we can't just lump all the kids together and say this is a story. That's what's so awesome about this camp is every kid gets to be their own story, but every kid at this camp will be a foster kid. So it won't be a unique thing, and it won't be the thing that makes them stand out. It'll be their story and their ability. And my highlight of the camp is on the very first night when they first get to camp, is there we have grandparents on the campground, that just couples that are coming just to be the grandparents, to read stories, that kind of thing. Well, on the first night, they read a book about how lives all go different directions and things happen, and it feels like you've been all beat up and, destroyed or whatever, but God can use all those things to make a beautiful picture. And so they're going to take those, talking about how our lives go up and down and kind of things. And then after they read them the story, before they put them into bed, there has been some groups in the Sioux Falls and Laverne area. There's been ladies in the quilting groups that have made each of these kids an individual quilt. And the kid will be given their quilt and told that they were put together with love from fabric that was from all different directions, and then they will get to keep that quilt for the rest of their lives.
For 1 week, instead of operating in survival mode, they can be kids.
Yes.
And once again, dream, believe, and find new hope for their future. At least for 1 week, they can believe that.
One of my favorite stories from a past camp is a little girl. They were out on a hike, and her guide said to her, "So, Lexi, what do you want to do when you grow up?" And I remember because Lexi said, "I never thought I'd grow up." And it stunned her. She'd never been asked. She'd never thought past her current situation. And for this 1 week, we want them to dream and think bigger than their circumstance.
Well, how can people help? First of all, they can go see the movie Camp at the Carmike. What are the times today that it's on?
The movie's showing daily at 1:15, 4:15, 7:15, and 9:55. So matinee rates at the 1:15 and 4:15, and then the evening rate of $7 a ticket at the Carmike 7. So,
and that's through Thursday, and maybe later if we get a lot of people to go out and see.
That's our hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of the churches are involved in?
Yeah, there's quite a few churches that are involved in this. People from all different kinds of denominations, and it's just an exciting thing to be a part of.
Well, giving a young child hope. I always define hopeless, or hope is when everything is hopeless.
Yes.
And that's where these kids are coming from.
Yes. It seems like that to them at this moment, but it's not. It's not hopeless.
Well, a foster child, usually if they're a baby or infant, it's no big deal. But when they get to be 6 to 12 years old, it's kind of like, is anybody going to ever care about me? I mean, that's when they're formative years. That's when their brain is getting hardwired as to the data that's inputted to it.
Right. And this camp is designed to love on these kids, to show these kids that there is more to life. You don't have to, what you've experienced up to now isn't all there is. There is more. And we want them to think about that, to think about their future, to dream what might their life look like, so they have something to look forward to. Many of these kids will go back to their homes, back to their parents, and they'll still face hard things. But we want to provide them just that foundation that I am special, I am unique. What happens to me isn't who I am. But I have the choice for my future and where I want to go.
And no matter how bad it is today, I can look forward to July going to camp.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and this camp will be a yearly thing, and hopefully there'll be several more started up in the next few years. And so even if, they're 7 and they think there's nothing for them, we can say to them on the last day, we'll see you in a year.
And good food?
Great food.
Home cooked, I bet.
It is. It's all wonderful food. We have a great cook.
And you were mentioning, I think you have more staff than you do kids, actually.
We do.
So really, it's kind of a team effort.
Absolutely, because, we have everything from woodworkers coming to teach the kids to make birdhouses. We have fishermen coming. We have people that are coming with boats and equipment. We have craft people, we have cooks, we have activities and sports people coming. So these kids will be well entertained, and just one event after another to keep them busy.
Well, Kathy Jo McGee, Assistant Director, and Amanda Barton, Director, Royal Family Kids Camp Sioux Empire out of Brandon. Are there any others in South Dakota?
Not a one.
So people could say this is a good idea. We could start one in Mitchell or Chamberlain or Black Hills or Aberdeen or Watertown. Again, go to the movie Camp. And it's really, that's what it's all about.
Yes, it is. And we'd love to see more started in Sioux Falls to meet our own kids' needs here.
Now, tell us about the movie.
the movie was inspired by a man who went to the camp with ulterior motives. I don't want to give away the movie, but he went to the camp to try and gain a business client. And so he thought, well, I can do this for 1 week. It's just hanging out with kids. He got paired up with a young boy who was removed from his home just a short time before he went to camp. And the boy went to camp and met this counselor, and they didn't get along at first. They had a lot of run-ins because they both had different ideas about what camp was about. But through the story, you see the experience of a foster child, which is one of the things we really want to open up to the community too, is just the need for foster parents and adoptive parents. That's one of our goals through this movie, is just by broadening that awareness. The boy goes through the week, and the counselor, they both very character-defining moments, and we'll find that with our own camp too. It's not only about the kids, but it's also about how it changes the life of the people who are part of it. It's a great story. Bring your Kleenexes.
And it's fun because there's the main story, but then there's a lot of sub-stories underneath it, and all of the stories in the movie are based off of true stories.
It's based on a best-selling book, Adopt Without Debt. And it's camp does more than entertain, it inspires. So this is something you can bring your kids to.
It is PG-13, but I would feel comfortable bringing about a 7 to 8-year-old up to it.
But it's true stories.
It is true stories.
It's what camp can do, and that's where this is the first year for Brandon, right?
Correct.
And 36 kids are going to have this opportunity.
Yes.
And I think you're going to have as much fun as they are, aren't you?
Absolutely.
The camp, there's something about a campfire, swimming, fishing, telling ghost stories at night, having good food, good people. What else can you ask for?
Yep. One of the big things at a Royal Family Camp is bacon. Every morning they have lots of bacon for breakfast. And how often do kids get to have bacon and not be corrected in their eating of it? So
how can people help if they want to do something to help the camp?
First of all, we're going to say go to the movie. We'd love to just broaden your awareness of foster care by going to the movie. After you see it, you'll have a good idea of what the camp is about. We're looking for the few volunteer positions that we mentioned, but also if they want to donate funding, it costs about $35,000 to run a camp like this. And so we're always open to donors donating funding. We do have some supplies of things that can be donated to the camp, things such as beach towels, toothpaste, toothbrushes, things like that. And people can contact us to get a list of those items.
Well, one more time. If people want to help, you're looking for some people to do some mentoring, or there's other things they can do after camp, maybe too.
Well, the way Royal Family runs is we run 3 years of successful camps first, and then we get to move into a mentoring program. We are a franchise of a bigger company, and so we need to make sure we follow all their rules and make sure we're successful. Right now we're going to run camps and run them successfully, and then we will move forward from there.
Well, we hope to talk to you again after you have camp and find out what we can do for next year.
We would love that.
Yes.
We would love that.
Kathy Jo McGee and Amanda Barton want to thank you for being with us. And the Kids Camp Sioux Empire Royal Family, they can see the movie Camp this afternoon through Thursday at the Carmike Theater. Want to thank you very much for being with us, Unformed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.